Let's finish with this one. I have made my decision on this one. Cory Sandhagen against TJ Dillashaw. And the pick is Cory Sandhagen. And I think that you look at these two guys, Sandhagen, he's 7-1 in the UFC. He's won 5 of his 8 UFC appearances by way of stoppage. And you look at Dillashaw, in his last 8 fights, he was 6-2. He won 4 of those 8 by stoppage. So we're talking about two guys that have had a lot of stoppage victories between the two of them. And because of that, this is another one where that fight goes the distance. No, I'm liking a lot. I don't think there's any numbers there for this one. But the fight goes the distance. No, and the under in this one, when those numbers come out, I'll be eyeing. But I think Cory Sandhagen. I think Cory Sandhagen gets it done here, and I kind of have to just take myself away from just my general dislike for TJ Dillashaw, just because
let's hear it though. Can we get a critique of TJ Dillashaw real quick?
I don't know if it's him as the person, but it's just rubbed me the wrong way of just kind of now playing the victim, the profile that they've done on him on the UFC Fight Pass.
I didn't get to see it yet. Did you see it, Al?
No, I've just seen the commercial where they're making him look like Hurricane Carter, or he's been accused of a crime he didn't commit, or he's getting out of jail for being something that he didn't do. This is a guy who is an admitted cheater. So I don't understand how they're going with the angle or the gimmick of just trying to humanize him. And I know that's not him, but I know it's the way that the UFC is packaging this. And I just don't like the entitlement of him wanting to just step right back in and get a title shot. I just feel like he needs to earn his keep. And I think that I feel like Sandhagen, I wouldn't be shocked to see Sandhagen do something similar to what he did to Frankie Edgar, which is a first round KO, or submission. I don't think that Dillashaw, it's that thing. It's the what we were talking about with Bruno Silva. If it's different with Bruno Silva getting, dinged at 28 years old and taking 2 years off and coming back. We're talking about TJ, almost at the wrong side of 30, getting dinged, and now coming back at 35 years old, a bantamweight, and I feel like a lot of him, something that's not talked about a lot, I feel like the EPO and the PEDs, a lot of that had to do with his struggle to get down to he was cutting to 125 at one point. So I feel like that had a lot to do with it when he needed to go back to 135 to kind of bulk up again. I feel like that, it's not even that he needed it. I just feel like it's that mental gap. And you hear a lot of people talk about this in not just MMA, not just combat sports, but in all sports. When you have that, when you were using PEDs and you stop using them and you return to competition, there's a huge psychological gap where your confidence just isn't there, because it took you to the point where you had to do this stuff because you weren't confident enough in your natural ability that you had to up yourself. And I just feel like this is a mental thing. And if we're talking about mental toughness, Cory Sandhagen is probably, besides Peter Yan, probably one of the most mental tough fighters in the bantamweight division. And I'm very confident that Sandhagen, I know he's minus 160, which I don't like a lot, but I wouldn't be shocked to see some money come in on TJ. This fight is a month away. So, and this will be an afternoon fight. So this fight this one, I think it starts at like noon, and the main card will come on at like, or the main event will come on at like 6 p.m. I don't know why that matters, but this is in the middle of July, so it's a pretty good. We got a big gap between now and then for some money to come in on TJ. And I like, if it doesn't, I like inside the distance. And I don't think this fight goes the distance. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm with you on Cory Sandhagen, absolutely. You know, big layoff for TJ, 35 years old now. I mean, the guy's literally going to come back to the sport off the sauce at the expiration date for a bantamweight, right? Already coming off of some bad losses, right? Even before the break, you know. And Al, man, you talked about, you know, him. Listen, his official excuse was the cut to flyweight destroyed me physically. I needed this stuff to try to bounce back to 135. Al, I don't buy it one bit. This is a guy who's been on all that stuff his entire UFC career, ever since he was on The Ultimate Fighter. I watched the ascent of TJ Dillashaw. I watched this guy rise from being a good fighter, a very middling guy, a guy who lost to John Dodson, right, on The Ultimate Fighter, who in a matter of a year or two emerged as a cardio machine with elite level speed, striking, just became an all-around elite super athlete, and a change in physique. You know, just there was a change. You go look at the TJ Dillashaw on The Ultimate Fighter. It's a pretty average guy. Then look at TJ Dillashaw, the champion. It's a whole nother level. I mean, this guy came in on a short notice matchup with Renan Barao, who at the time was just looked to be a guy that was on a 32-fight win streak. I mean, a guy who was just playing, just toying with competition, finishing fights with spinning back kicks to the liver. I mean, you know, putting up highlights and then, you know, yawning about it, you know, like, big deal, bring on the next. And TJ Dillashaw goes in there and just puts a beating on the guy. And twice. Damn right. And I got news for people on this side too. Why was Barao so good? My man's on a similar mix to what TJ Dillashaw was on. I'm sorry, it's just the case. Dillashaw finally got caught. And you know what? There's a difference here. And why didn't we hear? Why wasn't it tainted horse meat, tainted creatine? Why didn't we hear that excuse from TJ Dillashaw? Because he was backed into a corner. There is no excuse. If they find EPO in your system, here's the problem, Al. There's not an oral version available. What does that mean? The tainted supplement, the tainted anything argument goes out the window, because the only way EPO is found in your system is because it's been loaded into a syringe and injected into your body. And it's just plain and simple. You can't, I mean, maybe I was at a veterinarian's office. They spilled EPO on a nail and then I fell on it. I mean, like, you know what I mean? Like, there's just no excuse when there's EPO in your system. And he didn't even deny it. He said, yeah, I cheated. You know what I mean? Which is such a rare look. But, yeah, I think the guy's been on stuff for years upon years, and I do. It's a big question mark for me. The same question mark I had tonight about Bruno Silva, which he answered positively. I got to question TJ Dillashaw. What is this guy going to look like? There's a chance he is just nowhere near the same guy, and it might not even be for reasons of the substances. He may have fell off due to ring rust, the inactivity. He may have fell off due to hitting that age. He may have fell off if nothing ever happened, and he's just coming off of some bad losses and damage. You know, there's so many things going against TJ Dillashaw in this matchup. Cory Sandhagen just looks to be on point. I will say this, though. If there's one angle that I think is the best angle for TJ Dillashaw, and don't get me wrong, we haven't seen this version of TJ Dillashaw in a long time. I think if TJ Dillashaw comes in here and has a offensive wrestling game plan, right? We saw Cory Sandhagen get taken down and manhandled by Aljamain Sterling, get finished quickly, backpacked, found the choke. I think TJ Dillashaw's best shot is to come into this fight as the smaller man, lacking reach, probably lacking speed, reaction, all those things now as a 35-year-old bantamweight. I think he goes back to those team alpha male roots and tries to wrestle a Cory Sandhagen here. Honestly, though, Al, doesn't seem like a likely scenario to me, and I still question his chances of winning that fight. It's Cory Sandhagen for me, man.
Yeah, I 100% agree. This is one that we'll probably bang the drum on from now until the fight happens, and money will still come in, flood in on TJ. And there's one that I'm not going to talk about it. It's a women's flyweight fight that's on this card, UFC Vegas 32. I'll talk about it next week, but it's a huge L word. And if you guys can guess, get on it, because it's like a fight of the year. If I was one of those touts that was like, this is one of my fights of the year, this is one of my locks of the year, this would be that. But I'm not one of those. But this is one of those. This is like that Luque fight from a couple of months ago. This one on this card, UFC Vegas 32. We'll talk about it next week.
Oh, I thought you were going to drop it on him. Man, he's saving it, folks.
It's Miranda Maverick, okay?
Oh, there we go. I got it out of him, people. You know what, though, Al? I'm so with you, man. You know what? Now that I blew it for you, though, Al, just can you give us a little bit of your thoughts on that one?
It's Miranda Maverick fighting Maycee Barber. And it's basically a female women's flyweight fight between a prospect who is really good, who has the potential of being possibly even champion at some point, facing just the myth Maycee Barber. Just this is another one where, perception is not reality. The perception that we've had on Maycee Barber has just been nothing but an utter fraud, an utter, losses to Roxanne Modafferi. The list goes on. She's just not very good. She's just completely outclassed here. Miranda Maverick is I don't even want to say it. She is a minus 150 favorite here. She could easily be a minus 250 favorite, and I wouldn't blink. Maycee Barber is not good, and she's going to try to strike with Miranda Maverick, and Miranda Maverick is the bigger girl, and she's just going to piece her up. And I'm very confident in this one. This is one of those ones where it's just this is a gut one too. I haven't even looked at the numbers, the betting trends, but this is just, from what I know, this one is it's just a home run spot. Miranda Maverick is going to just destroy Maycee Barber. I wouldn't be shocked if she stopped her. I know Barber is very tough. We've seen her be a bloody mess in a couple of her fights. We've seen her. She went. Did she go the distance in that fight that she broke her, or that she pulled her leg, or did she get stopped? I can't remember.
I think she got stopped in that one, but it's weird. I can't remember. I mean, for such a traumatic leg injury, you'd think it'd have to be stopped. But I think she made it.
She went the distance. She did go the distance.
She did. Wow, that's pretty tough. I mean, either way though, she got absolutely mangled. But Al, you know what? Let's just do this. I'm right there with you. Minus 150 Maverick. It's a pretty high confidence spot for me. And it's, this is a fight we've been behind the scenes talking about for like a month, probably at least, right? We kind of blew the top off this one. Why am I not going to be surprised if we see that line movement start to shift? We do those things around here. You know what I'm saying? I think you're right. Okay, I'm going to put it like this. I think this is my layman's term, as simple as you can break this fight down. Miranda Maverick, the real deal, okay? Maycee Barber, not what she was sold to us as, not very good, not going to we've seen the limitations. She's at this point fully exposed in every area that she's got weaknesses, and honestly came into the UFC and severely overachieved in fights that she really only had one path to victory, which was to bull rush and take out some of these chicks very early. She did that. She found that success. When that doesn't happen, the wheels fall off. She loses and looks terrible. Al, I'm with you. Pulling the trigger. Green light. Miranda Maverick it is. And this is a high confidence spot at a very beautiful number. I'm with you, man. I think Miranda Maverick probably should end up minus 200 or better. And when I say better, I mean worse, like beyond that point. I think minus 150 Miranda Maverick is probably one of the best value spots we've got coming up for a long time. And I think this fight plays out dramatically different than the implied probability of Miranda Maverick minus 150.
Yeah, 100%. And just I'm just looking at her record and reminded of the two fights. You know, I will say that her TKO, Macy Barber's TKO victory over Jillian Robertson, probably the only impressive thing she's done in the UFC, because that win over JJ Aldrich is not UFC level. And then Hannah Cyphers is also just not that good.
Yeah.
And you were at that fight, right? Hannah Cyphers, Macy Barber.
Yep.
So yeah, I was just looking. I saw that it was Zombie and Rodriguez, but yeah.
Yep.
And then Miranda Maverick. I still think against Jillian Robertson, that wasn't the best that we've seen her. She's going to level up, and Jillian Robertson. It's funny how they both have wins over Jillian Robertson, but I feel like Jillian Robertson was really good in that fight against Miranda Maverick. Probably the best we've seen her in quite a while. And I feel like if Jillian Robertson fought Miranda Maverick again, that would probably go a lot differently. So based on some weird, not even really weird MMA math, but just watching these girls fight, they're on two completely different levels, and
two completely different trajectories at this point as well.
Yeah, she's gonna, we got to put. I'm putting Miranda Maverick in the same level as Casey O'Neill. You know what I mean? Like she's like Macy Barber is like she has a better career trajectory in the World Wrestling Federation or AEW than she does in the UFC. Like this, whatever she does after her run in the UFC is over, I don't think that we're going to be seeing her in Bellator, or I don't know. It's just it's like what's the guy, Sage Northcutt type situation where we've just been sold wolf tickets, and that's what I think is with Macy Barber. And
man, that's a pretty good example.
It's funny because I don't know why too, but there seems to be a lot of people. There's like she kind of has a following. Like she's quite a popular fighter, which I don't understand at all. But
I definitely don't.
Yeah, she's not the answer here. And Miranda Maverick all day in this one.
I think you're right, man. I think you totally nailed that one. Absolutely.